Hey, how's it going, guys? Domino Paris 21, testing with my hand. Back with another deck profile, a guest deck profile. As you see here with this handsome man close up. This is Rin76.
Hi, how you guys doing?
You guys formerly known him, I think, as my Genesis player from a little while back, but he has a channel, Rin76. So definitely, link will be description below. Check him out. But he just started a channel recently. So of course, with all of our female beautiful decks, he is our best wielder here in our area. So what do you have to display for us?
Today we have the Bermuda Harmony deck.
Harmony.
It's new. It's good. Actually, wrecked face with it today, so
That's pretty good. So before we get started with everything, now I know with Bermudas there's like I think like 5 ideal builds you can work with in terms of with the cards utilizing the new set. Do you find this to be the best ideal Bermuda build for yourself compared to others?
it's one of them because there's definitely some negative aspects about this deck in terms of what people are currently playing. And because it's a completely generation break focused deck.
Yep.
So things like Royals, Dark Irregulars, Shadows to some extent, Revenger type stuff.
They can usually play faster ahead of you.
Yeah, it's something. Now, when the striding starts, the deck can kick butt.
Yep.
And of course, Link Choker is going to be a problem because of locking and stuff. So there is some obvious issues.
Well, bad matchups are bad matchups.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be, I guess, being that is strictly a generation based deck. It could be a little slower. People could try and play around it with Grade 2 game, but nonetheless, the payoff is really great for all the plays you can do with it, which we will show you right now. So let's get started.
So, our starter, first lesson, Akari. She's got Harmony. So Harmony is a new thing in the latest Academy of Divas. It says that when another card is placed in the same column as this unit, like this, let's say I was riding, right? So I rode her, the Harmony would be active because another card was placed in the same column as this unit. So, this is also relevant to, because let's say this did not have Harmony. Like this. If this is on the field and I play her, because this doesn't have the Harmony effect, that means neither card is going to be in Harmony. But if it's the other way around, if this is on the field and I play it like this, now they'll both be in Harmony.
Okay.
So
that's good that you cleared that up for a lot of people, because I know there's a lot of Harmony questions out there.
Yeah.
That you probably get tired of.
It's important because the whole deck is all about the Harmony. So
harmonize with me.
Her main effect, of course, she's a Forerunner, and her other effect is GB1. You can put her in the soul, bounce a card, draw a card.
Really good, really solid.
Free.
And obviously combos off with lots of other cards we'll see later.
Yes.
All these yummy fish cards.
Alright, the main grade 3 is Milka Voice Loris. Of course, has Harmony. Her GB2 ability is once per turn, when she becomes in Harmony, choose 2 units, gains 5,000 power, and she gets an extra crit. Her secondary ability is when she's stridden over, counterblast 1 to bounce a card and draw a card.
Yeah, really good, solid grade GB2 ability. Late game.
My other grade 3 that I like to run is Liddy. I always get those mixed up. She also has Harmony. Her GB1 is for each card in Harmony, she gains 5,000 power. So, if you have a full field where every card is in Harmony, she gains plus 30,000. It can be really, really deadly at the end game.
Have you ever pulled that off successfully and actually won with it?
Yes. Yes. It was hilarious because after all the striding, I just ride her and be like, play a bunch of cards, boom, 48k Vanguard.
Wasn't that against me?
I think it was.
I think it was.
Yeah. So, hey, it can happen.
Her other ability is when she's placed on Vanguard, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, check top 5 for a card with the Harmony ability. So this is also nice because if you do have to go, you're dealing with someone who's staying at grade 2, you can play this to get a free card.
Okay.
Hopefully.
And it's not that bad to stay on, because at least you'll get some ability off the ride and late game situationally. But this is, of course, the ideal card.
Loris is amazing.
Yep. So yep, pretty straightforward solid lineup. It's really nice that they get nice hollows foiling. And
Yeah,
all their
good
cards.
foiling this time.
You just get that special rarity treatment.
With the grade 2s, we got 4
Spica, not the other way. It's racist. Anyways.
Whoa. Okay. She's the on boost card where GB1, if she's boosted, you can bounce a card, call a card, and that called card gains plus 3,000 power.
Yeah, pretty good. Obviously, that extra attack in is kind of like how Magnum Assault works, where you get the extra attack in that's guaranteed to hit the Vanguard. There's a lot. It's a lot of similarities with it, but it's just really good.
It doesn't have harmonies, so that's very relevant for the deck. The other card that's very similar is Potpourri. She does have harmony, and her GB1 is if she hits a Vanguard, you bounce a card, and then if she's in harmony, you can then call a card. This is good because even though it has to hit the Vanguard, it's free.
Okay.
And free things are good because that'll force out guard.
So it's really good, especially if you can utilize these early on. Maybe save a few Spicas for later.
Exactly. Like you have like a column that has one side has Potpourri and the other side is Spica. You can attack with the Potpourri first, bounce and call with the Spica.
Try it again.
And then exactly like if you say the first attack just killed your rear guard, then the next attack's going to be at your Vanguard with the threat of the bounce effect.
Okay, so definitely having these two in combination could definitely go for a lot of plays, a lot of pressure plays as well.
2 other things. I run 2 of the Harmony 12K attacker. There is no generic 12K attack GB1 attacker. For this, you have to be in Harmony to get the 12K attack.
But it works in conjunction with some of your search abilities.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
but it's a little bit of a bummer because it's a little more specific, so you have to be careful about how you play it.
Yeah.
The other one, 2 of Amelia. She has resist, which is great against Link Joker. And when she's bounced, GB1 counterblast 1 to draw a card.
Okay. Now, of course, as we're going to see with this deck later, as we go further into the deck, there's going to be a lot of counterblasting, a lot of resources that you really have to expend to utilize all your cards. Is this something that you always see yourself using, being able to do every time you bounce her, or sometimes you have to just shy away from using her ability to make room for others? So how is the cost essentially distributed throughout the deck in terms of utilizing them all? Does it ever clog or ever hinder you at any point?
You have to be a little careful. I don't honestly use Amelia's ability that often. I mean, I do only run 2 of her, so I'm not seeing her all that often on average. I generally have it as a backup. It's an extra option when I am got plenty of counterblast I can play. When I have the ability to unflip a lot, I can just spam her.
Okay. But I mean, is it something just to start just using any spare counterblast to get like free cards? Cause,
yeah, it's one of those where it's like if you have 5 and you're like free card.
Yeah. So.
But if it's certainly Amelia especially is low on the priority list of what you want to be using your counterblast
Right.
for.
So definitely you don't want to just use everything freely without thinking. You got to definitely conserve resources.
Because that's it's a limited choice. So these are all the 2s. I run 11 2s.
Okay. So. Yep. I like that as a 2 of just for those reasons that we mentioned.
Also resist. Yeah.
Yep. And is resist. You cannot resist my temptation.
All right. So with the 1s, we have 4 perfect cards. I use the unflip of perfect cards because there are a lot of counterblasts in the deck.
Yep.
So.
And he's cheating with this lovely
SP. The one SP we pulled.
The Disparity.
All right. This is honestly probably my favorite card in.
But it's not SP.
It's not SP because I don't have the pull power and I don't have the money.
Nope.
Shizuku is amazing because she gets you cards, free cards, and free cards you get. She's got Harmony. Her ability is once per turn, GB1. When she becomes in Harmony, check top 5 for grade 3, put it in your hand. Free.
Yep.
No cost. Get your cards.
Free reshuffle.
You can with these, especially because I'm running 4, you can thin out your deck of 3s amazingly fast sometimes.
Yep.
Like turn 4 or 5, you'll see 6 or 7 grade 3s.
And being that it's a very stride essential deck, essential as in you want to stride every single turn, just be able to get the free resource to be able to do so is always good.
exactly.
Plus, 11K beaters are actually pretty good. Make some pretty nice 21K columns, depending on with some combination. So hey, free cards are free.
Especially with some of the other things that I have. Because of that, I only run 2 Stride Enablers, because you normally have so many 3s, you don't need to worry about it. So you need a little bit of backup in case things aren't, working great. But really just need 2. I run only 1 Soul Blast 2 on Flip 2 card. I found that I really don't actually need 1 most of the time, because I can bounce it and call it back down and just use your effect again.
Yep. Have you ever found the need... Well, I know some people may want to run 2 just so you can draw into it, but it's more of something you want to use later in the game, which by then, with all the drawing, the thinning out, and tutoring that you do in the deck, you're bound to get it. And if not, then, well, whatever. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly. You could easily run 2. Like, I happen to just want to.
Okay.
The other card is Pumo. This is my sort of secret backup defensive thing that people don't know about.
So let's go ahead and break this card down.
Okay. So when it's placed into the Guardian Circle, because it's GB1, call a card to an open rear guard. And that's really important. That it has to be an open rear guard. And if you do, this card gets 5,000 power.
Okay.
Or 5,000 shield, I should say.
Okay.
So, she's a 10k guard. And the reason this is good is because this pairs up with Loris. Now, the key here is that Loris' GB2 ability does not say your turn at all. So anytime she becomes in Harmony, if its GB2 is active, you can choose 2 units and give them 5,000 power. So what you can do is, if you use this to guard and call a card behind Loris, Harmony will activate, give 2 units 5,000 power. So, Vanguard, of course, and maybe another card in the front row, you don't want to die. So, just by playing 1 card and calling a card, that net guard is 26 for that attack, and it's a permanent 16k for the rest of the turn.
That's pretty good, and that's pretty strong. And even other things too. It's like if you have a full field, you could just essentially intercept and then drop this, making it a 15k guard, which is usually what you drop for second tier attacks anyway. And then you'll be able to use your skill too in those situations. But ideally, you go for that play.
Yeah. So it's
a damn card.
It's fun because it messes against Aquaforce, especially with all the fact that they're going to be a lot of small attacks a lot of times. Just doing this right at the beginning to make it 16k just shuts off a lot of. Against a lot of aggro decks, it makes it a lot easier to deal with
Sanctuary Guard.
Yeah,
because Sanctuary Guard works really hard to deal with 21s, and they can actually beat up 13Ks pretty well. But 16, I mean,
that whole extra
level for that crap, and so I mean, static 16K is really really good. So
that's why I play 3 of it, because I want to be able to do it twice in a game, preferably, because generally I see a lot of decks with the Persona Flippers. There's going to be 2 big turns of nastiness. So that way, if something happens to one of them, I can still have 2.
Yep, and that's why we mentioned it's very important to stride every turn, just because you want to be able to have that Vanguard booster circle open at all times to keep that available. Because if you stride every turn, your Vanguard's already 26k, no need to boost for that, and the starter can easily put itself away to replace itself, which is why I love cards like that. So, really, really good. Very essential to stride every turn for that reason. Yeah. This card's amazing.
It's so good. So that's the one game.
So I think that's the main defensive combo you go for, and then
basically
you just keep recycling, bouncing.
And then it's just there's a lot of drawing and free cards.
Yep.
And because there's so much draw, I don't need draws in the deck. So we go 8 crit. This is the crit that goes with Loris. When you attack, put this in the soul. The Vanguard gains 5,000 power, and you draw a card.
That's really good.
Got 4 heals, of course, and then I run 4 stand triggers because this stand is broken. It's got Harmony, and the GB1 is at the end of the battle that it's boosted. Put this on top of the deck, bounce a card, call a card, and then shuffle your deck.
Yep, it's kind of like the Energy Girl, I can't remember her name. Hatsune Miku looking stand trigger from Nova Grapplers, but in splash form.
Right. And it's really good just because this deck is really all about all the little extra attacks.
Yep.
And it just gives more attacks, and it's stand triggers, so.
Yep. So it's good. I mean,
recycle.
I still don't like stand triggers, but the ability is really good. So
yeah, This was really the first deck I've ever had that I actually ran. I guess the Genesis deck because it had the broken Norn effect.
Yeah.
But this one I was like, I don't know if I need it, and then I played it and I'm like, oh yeah.
It's really good. Now, last but not least, the Stride deck.
Okay. So with Strides, I run 2 of the Somni. This is on hit. You bounce something, you call something, give the call card.
I really wish they could call that Splash. That's what I call it, Splash.
Splash.
Like splash a card.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good.
Yeah,
call.
that's what Bermudas do. They just jump up and then splash. So we're calling it Splash now. That's the new term. We're gonna spread everywhere.
Yeah.
You splash a card.
I run 1 of Morris. That's when it's played, bounce 2 cards. I use it if I want to fix a column. I mean, it's sort of a backup card.
Or just reharmonize.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the.
Well, it's it's on play, bounce 2, so you couldn't play like 2 Shizukus and then bounce them and then do other stuff.
But if you already have them on board, you could like bounce them and then just
exactly.
use them again. So.
I run 1 Blizza because 2 reasons. One, hit numbers. Especially late game if like I can't get a Liddy to get big numbers. Blizza's all about the big numbers. Also, if you're not in an awesome position, bringing out Loris's ability really fast.
Yep.
So you can get that if you know you've got the Pumo in hand and you're like, I think next turn I'm going to be in trouble. Rather than do this for the pressure hit, I'll just go this for the defensive.
Yep. That's good.
Main strat of the deck though is definitely Olivia.
And you got the legs.
With the SP!
The most important SP, the legs. Let's look at that up close without glare. Yeah, I'm really bad at this guy, sorry.
Thanks to courtesy of your
It's yeah.
It's real.
Yes. So, her ability is on attack if there's 1 face up in the G zone. So, second stride card. You can counterblast 1, flip up a copy. You choose up to 5 cards with different names, and that's really important that every card has to have a different name. Bounce all of the cards that you've chosen, and if you've bounced at least 3, she gets a crit. You can call 1 card to front row, 1 card to back row.
But it has to be front and back row, not like 2 front row.
Yeah, it has to be front, it has to be back.
So recycle a whole column.
Exactly.
And
so,
it's kind of funny too how you can like, I mean, if you're kind of in a desperate situation and you just drop your hand of just whatever, as long as they of like just random 1s and 0s, and as long as they can hit, you just attack
yeah,
them
as
all
long as you
and
hit like
bounce
11 columns,
them.
it's like double perfect, or
Yeah.
well, not double perfect guards, but like a perfect guard and a crit trigger is
Yeah.
1 column, and you know whatever is on the other column, and that's one of the reasons why I don't need the I don't find I need too many of the Soul Blast 2 and Flip 2 is because a lot of times by the time I'm using her, this card's in the field, so I'm using it and then I'm using this to bounce it back to my hand for next turn.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. So of course Olivia definitely, I mean if you can run as a 4 of, really amazing combo.
There really isn't a deck that I know that, I mean there are decks you could run only 2 of it, but in all of my decks I run 4 because it's just the ability to get not only to get the extra crit, just to make that scary. Now it's like if they're 4, a lot of times what I'll do is the first 2 attacks I'll focus to killing rear guards.
Yep.
And then I'll use this to get the extra pressure, so they also won't get that extra free sort of trigger chance.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you're dealing with this full power. I'm not going to give you an extra 5k.
And since you run 12 crits, you have more. You have possibilities of 8 crits. Well,
Yeah.
never mind. Then that kind of takes away what I was just going to say. I would say now you can pass crits to the column. But anyway.
But it still happens a lot, and I mean, unfortunately, thanks to her ability, depending on how you're doing things, on the matchups, the stands might not be quite as effective if you're going to bounce the whole field. But you can easily do like attack with 1 column, and then attack, bounce the Vanguard booster in that column.
So you don't have to bounce your whole field as long as you bounce like with different names.
With different names.
Okay, because I think that's an important thing because I think a lot of people get confused with that because they feel like they have to bounce their whole field, but you don't have to.
Yeah, you just need 3 cards. So.
Okay, so yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. Any final comments for Bermudas? Do you feel like? So I mean, like you said in the beginning, I find this deck to be really strong. Have a lot of. This is a lot of plays you can do with it. I mean, just the big major downside I feel with this deck, of course, is that it can be slow in terms of it doing it doing what it needs to do because everything is generation break. But once you get everything going, then
Yeah, once you get everything going, it's really strong and solid. It's right up there with at least up there with all the other Bermuda decks that are really strong, like the Duo Legion deck, Prisms, such that like if you wanted to run this, like I would never say like, oh man, I wouldn't run this because it might not be strong enough, because like you will wreck face
Yeah.
against a lot of people.
Yeah, so this deck, of course, overall very strong, pretty consistent for the most part, and really fun to play. So, as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe to Rin76 for all your exclusive waifu decks and Bermuda stuff, and he also plays Weiss for all you Weiss players out there. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.
See ya.